Okay. Burner market trading. This is I can't wait for it. And today we are going over indicators part 3. And this is tick charts. And if you've never looked at tick charts and if all you've ever looked at was time charts, well, this will be a big change. Just in the way that the chart looks and feels. And I'm going to try to sum that up and show you on a couple different charts so you can kind of get an idea of what it's like. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get into this chart here. I want you to look at this price action. This is the last previous high, and I put a little bit of a blue circle right here that you can barely see. And I'm going to put another one on this low and on this high. Now, just want you to remember kind of what this looks like. And I'm going to switch this over to a 10,000 tick chart. And, so you're asking, what is a tick chart? And so a tick chart is, back in the day, they didn't have the internet and they didn't have, a way to go online or platforms where you can go and make trades with the comfort of your own home. You had to actually go somewhere. So they had buildings that were dedicated just to the stock market. And you'd go in there and you would find, your stock that you're looking at, and there would be like this little strip of paper coming out of this machine, and it would make this tick noise. It'd be like tick, 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 and it would have all these prices on it, with all the orders that are coming through in order. And so you'd rip off a piece of paper and you'd take a look at it and you'd say, okay, well, all right, you look at all the prices of going through of all the orders, and you call your broker up, and you hope that he's there. He's probably not. He's probably on lunch, extended lunch, and you're hoping that he gets back in order to put your order in before the price goes up even higher. And so you tell, you leave a message, hey, I want to put in, 1,000 shares at 10.25 or 6.60.23 for snap. And then you hang up the phone and you hope that he, pray to God that he actually gets to it. And so then a couple hours go by, you go back up to the wall, you pull off a strip, you look at it, you see that it's gone up $1.50 and everything, and you call your broker back up and you hope that he didn't go home and that he actually put your order in to close your order so that way you don't lose money on the deal. And so you leave a message and you say, hey, I want to go ahead and close my 1,000 contracts on Snap at 11.50 or 61.50 or whatever, and hope that he actually puts the order in. And so then, so the noise that it made was a ticking noise, and so they adopted that noise, and they call it a tick chart, because now instead of having candles that are based on a time frame like an hour or 5 minutes or 1 minute, you have them based on a certain amount of orders they go through, and you get to choose that order, that number. So if you go up here to the top right next to the gear where your time usually is, your 5 minute whatever, and you go to time frame, click the middle one that says tick. You can only do 5 days. The only thing I don't like about it on Thinkorswim, I like having a much longer span of time to look at, but they minimize it down to 5 days. And then you can change your ticks to whatever you want. I use Fibonacci numbers, so that's, you can use like 133, 610, 987, 1597, whatever you want. And you can use 3. If you're using a 1 minute chart and it's not fast enough, you can use a 25 or a 1 tick or a 55, which is like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And so anyways, you click OK and it pops up and it looks like this. So remember the ones that we circled in the beginning? I'm going to scroll through here and show you the price action. This was the one that we circled that was way up at high in the middle there, and it was represented by one red candle, and then it was like a couple green ones coming down or over or up or something like that. And so then if I go shrink that up and come, I can't go any further than that way. So there's the bottom right there, that's the low, that one green candle down there, and that's as far back as I can go. But you can see like this 10,000 tick represents that down from that last previous high to the last low. And now if I go in here and I change this to, let's say, a 5 minute, you know, and now this is what your 5 minute looks like. There's that high that we had circled, and you got all this extra, you know, each one of these is a 5 minute candle with all the orders that encompasses that, you know, that falls within that 5 minutes. And so now if you look at this and I switch this to like a 610, let's say. Well, a 610 and a 5 minute are pretty close to about the same thing depending on what time of the day you're looking at, because the orders start coming in a little bit slower later in the day. But you can see each one of these candles is 610 orders that go through, and then it prints another candle. And so it's very close to about the same thing that you're looking at. But I feel like you get a little bit more detail out of a tick chart than you do out of a 5 minute, because a 5 minute you're gonna miss some details. It's either gonna be, you know, it's gonna be like, you know, big candle or small candle in this area right here in this, like these 3 candles is probably just one candle. And then, you know, you got this red candle is probably part of that bigger candle there. And so you can kind of compare it, and it just changes the way that your chart looks. It gives you more detail. And, you know, if I put it on like a 1 minute, it's be probably easier to see. So if this is the 1 minute and this is the end of that, the last, let's say 50 candles, right? And you look at your price action here, it's coming down, and then it bounces, hits the top Bollinger Band, comes down, hits the bottom Bollinger Band, hits the top Bollinger Band again, right? Well, when you switch it to a tick chart, so let's see, let's pick a 233, it's probably close. It's gonna do about the same thing, but it's just gonna have a couple of, you know, a little bit more detail, but very similar. But if that's not fast enough for you, like a 1 minute chart is just not fast enough, you're not getting enough detail, you can switch it to like a 55, you know, which is like 15 seconds. And then look at how much more, this is the same run down with that bounce up to the top Bollinger Band, bottom Bollinger Band, back up to the top, and then you have all this extra, you know, information afterwards. You know, I mean, look at all these candles. I'm not even zoomed in enough for you to even recognize it, but I wanted you to see the scope of how much detail you can get off of a tick chart. It's the same thing as, you know, as the other candle, you know, the candlestick patterns and everything that you see. It's just, I mean, it's just a lot more. You're able to get a lot more detail in the same amount of time. And so that's all it is. I mean, it's just, those are tick charts. So hopefully that helps, and that gives you a different way of looking at the charts. You know, if you want a little more information, or if you're just not seeing the charts the right way, you can come in here and change it to whatever you want, and you know, kind of get the charts to look, you know, whichever way you want them to look, whatever makes sense to you. And that's the whole point, is, you know, how can you get the charts to a point where you can look at them and it actually makes sense to you enough that you can actually make good decisions off of it. And that's probably going to be different for, you know, different things that you're doing in the market. If you're playing options, or if you're playing, you know, if you're day trading, if you're doing futures, or, you know, if you're looking for an entry to get in, or you're looking for a way to get out, you might need more information than you're getting on the regular charts that you're looking at. And so that's where this will, you know, this helps out. So hopefully that helps. And if you got any questions, write them in the comments below. And I can't wait for it. And I'll see you in the next one.